You're watching Stewart Spotlight Podcast live with your host, William Stewart Jr. With topics of everyday life. Tune in every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Today's guests, Reverend Jackie Bell and Deacon Eddie Bell. Working for the Lord. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode. Now your host, William Stewart Jr.
Good evening and welcome to Stewart Spotlight Podcast. My name is William Stewart Jr. and I am your host this evening. I hope everyone had a wonderful week and getting ready for the weekend as usual. You know, there's a lot of talk about stocks and bonds, and I was talking to a financial advisor just this week, and he clearly said for individuals who has 401ks, make sure you double check and check on it because a lot of people are losing money in their 401k. So that's just an FYI from a financial advisor. Today is Friday, April the 11th, 2025. This month is going fast, but you know, what could I say? As usual. But I need your help right now, and you know why? This is why.
I need your support. I need you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and make sure you turn on your notifications. So therefore, every time you hear this, you know that Stewart Spotlight Podcast is live.
That's right. Make sure you turn on your make sure you subscribe and make sure you turn on your notifications. So therefore, every time you hear the bell, you need to turn on your phone, tablet, computer, whatever devices you may have to tune into Stewart Spotlight. Today's guest is Deacon Eddie Bell and Reverend Jacqueline Bell. I want y'all to be aware of something before they come on, because Eddie is a jokester. So just be prepared, because you never know what comes out the deacon's mouth. But anyway, after this break, we'll be back to talk with the Bells. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back to Stewart Spotlight Podcast. As I stated before, we have the Bells on this week, and the subject is working for the Lord. Without further ado, let's bring on the Bells. Welcome to the show. Okay.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi.
Okay, let's see. Eddie has cut off the screen a little bit.
Wait, scoot over, Eddie. Scoot over.
All right, there we go.
There you go.
Now you just have to go to your right, just a little bit to your right.
Go
No,
to your
move the camera to your right.
Oh, move the camera to my right.
Oh, now you moved
That's
it
just
to.
me.
Oh, you
You
moved
just
it
got
to.
me.
You moved it to your left. There you go. There we
Trying
go.
to get you.
That was on purpose.
Okay. Welcome to the Stewart Spotlight Podcast. How you guys doing today?
All right, and
We're
yourself?
doing good.
Oh, okay. I'm so glad that you guys took the time out of your busy schedule to come on and talking about working for the Lord, because you have a deacon and you have a reverend. I'm just honored. So let's start off. Let's go straight into this stuff. Start off with the deacon. Deacon, how long have you been a member of Greater Sweet Home Missionary Baptist Church?
I've been a member all my life.
All your life.
All my life. Born and raised in
Okay.
Greater Sweet Home.
And your pastor was?
Reverend Andrew Kelly.
And who's your pastor now?
Reverend Emmanuel Thompson.
Okay. So you was up under Pastor Kelly for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how was it? Did you learn a lot from him, or what?
Yeah, I mean, he basically taught me everything I know.
Okay.
How to be a deacon.
Okay.
I learned it all from him.
But before you became a deacon, you were what? You started off as a started in youth choir, correct?
Yes, I sang in the youth choir, and when you become a teenager, they put you in the adult choir. So I went through all phases of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I started playing the piano and pushed my Deacon Kelly to the side. He was our piano player then, and I took over for him, and I became the church's musician.
Okay. So that was over a period of what time? From what age to what age you was the musician?
I was a musician from the moment I got out of high school,
Okay.
which is about 18, and I still play right now today.
Okay.
But I'm not the head musician. I gave that over to my nephew, who came up under me, Deacon Taheem Smith. Yes.
Okay. So you've been very active in your church then.
Definitely, yes.
Okay. So, Reverend Evangelist.
Yes.
Jacqueline,
Yes, sir.
Jacqueline Bell. So, where did you start from? What church?
Well, I grew up in beautiful Zion, 1406 West 64th Street, where the pastor was Barnaby Harris. So I grew up under him.
So, why did you leave there?
Well, I left the church like a lot of people do, and when they become adults, they ain't made to go to church no more. I left. And then I didn't get back into church until after I met with Eddie, which he wasn't a deacon then. He was just the musician. I met with Eddie, and then I started going to church with him.
Okay.
And then I eventually joined church after going for a while.
So was Eddie an influence of you to come and join his church?
No, he actually told me not to join.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
He told me he did not want me to join, but I had one of the late members there, Naomi Kelly, Deacon Kelly's wife. I remember her saying to me, if this is where you want to be, you don't let nobody stop you.
Okay.
And I joined the church, and it wasn't long before I joined the choir. I can't sing, but I love to sing. So I joined the choir, and I'm still presently in the choir. I'm still in the choir now. That's okay. God knows already.
So now, were you guys dating when you came over to St. Greater Sweet?
Yes, I met him. We met out, and then he invited me to the church. And then he took me to church every Sunday, but he didn't want me to become a member.
Okay,
but I went with him every Sunday.
What was that about, Eddie?
She saw this fine specimen, and she just, once I took her to church, she just wanted to keep coming. I didn't know whether it was the church that pulled her in or whether I pulled her in, but she refused to stop coming.
So now you're off the screen. I just see half your face.
Yeah, that's probably why.
That's because she's pulling it away on purpose. It's to the right.
I'm going to the right.
Okay.
Yes, there you go.
There you go. All right. So now you guys were dating at Greater Sweet Home, and when did you guys get married?
2000. We got married in 2000. We'll be married 25 years on September the 23rd of this year.
So it's 25 years from that point, and you have 5 kids, 3 boys, and 2 girls.
Yes.
Now, are they members as well?
No, they only one. Well, none of them are.
They grew up in the church.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my son came up under me,
Okay.
and so I taught him what I knew, and then he took that and ran with it. So now he plays for another church.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And the other kids, they somewhere else?
Yeah, everybody's in different churches. One of our daughters just passed away in August.
Okay.
My oldest, and she was in Minnesota. Then I have another daughter in Minnesota, and they attend church there. And then our baby girl, she loves John Hannah, so she goes to John Hannah.
Yeah, I used to go to John Hannah too.
Yeah.
A long time ago. Wow.
Yeah.
So now, how many siblings are there in your family, Rep?
Oh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay.
So it's 7 of us.
And Deke?
Deke, I am the middle child. So I have a brother and a sister older than me, and I have a brother and a sister up under me.
Okay. Okay. So now for the viewers, FYI, I've been knowing Eddie for a long time, and his family for several years. Me and his sister, Jackie Bell Smith, we worked together. Plus, as he mentioned earlier, his head of his musician is Tyheen Smith, who is my godson as well. So he has been helping me out a great deal. So you also stated that Pastor Kelly wanted you to be a deacon, but you refused. You denied it. Well, why?
Because at the time I just ran from it. You know, it's what he wanted, but it wasn't what I wanted at the time. So he compromised and said, well, since you won't become a deacon, how would you like to be a trustee? So I took the position as trustee, which was over the building, the deeds of the building, and made sure, took care of the building as a trustee until maybe for about 2 years. I had a brother, Norman Graham. He was much older than me, and me and him were the 2 trustees. I did it for 2 years, and then he came back again and hit me with the deacon this time. And this time I just said yes, and I took that position.
Couldn't deny it then, huh?
I couldn't deny it then, yes.
Okay.
Because I was actually doing the job. I just didn't have the title.
So basically, what is the responsibility of a deacon?
Well, a deacon is responsible. They do whatever they can to help the pastor, and also to help the members as well. But we keep a lot of pressure off of the pastor. Most of the problems that revolve in the church, we try to take care of it to best of our knowledge, and that way it doesn't get to the pastor, because the pastor has enough to do with feeding the flock and teaching the word and bringing the word. So we try to handle most of the business, most of the problems, and not to say that, we're over him, but whatever we can do, we do. And then if something that we can't do, then we'll bring it to the pastor. But he knows everything, so we don't do nothing without his knowing,
So did you have any challenges being a deacon? Because, sometimes people just don't want to listen to a deacon, and why is he a deacon and things of that nature, negativity in the church.
Right. Well, I mean, I have a strict background. I was raised in a strict family, strict father. So so the way I was raised is the way I am right now today. So I'm the strict deacon.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes you get people that don't agree with what you're doing or what you're asking, but eventually they learn to love you. They learn to understand you, and then eventually they come around. Okay. But the church is the best interest.
Okay.
That's what most deacons have at heart. Is the church. It's not about me.
It's about the church.
It's about God's work, and it's about the church.
True. So yeah. So Reverend Bell, you came and you were an evangelist in 2002. Explain. Did you always want to become an evangelist, or you just want to serve in the church?
I just really wanted to sing in the choir. I had no idea that God was going to call me to do ministry, but I was already doing the ministry laboring. I was already, I was doing all the work already, and I've been in 20. I actually got licensed as a evangelist in 2003,
Right.
and then I mean, I've done everything from communion to baptism to christening to marriages to funerals to burials. So I'm already doing the work. I'm already helping people. I'm already taking on charities, finding things and ways to build up the community and the women's shelter for battered women. And I have a heart for the people of God.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you have that heart, I never ran from my calling. I accepted my calling because I knew God had called me to it. I mean, the way I was teaching Bible class, I knew it couldn't have been nobody but God. And so the gift he had put in store me, so inside of me. So the one thing I've always prayed about is that God would give my leader my gift. And I would have to, show. So, and I encountered quite a few people who just didn't believe in women preachers. That's how it is. So, recently, almost a year ago, we got a new pastor, and he saw my gifts, and I didn't have to say anything. As a matter of fact, I'm his assistant. And so I help him. I keep him on task with the people and remind him to make sure he's taking care of the business, kind of just stay in his ear, and so to be a help to him. And so, I mean, he saw me doing the work and I didn't have to say anything. And he, the Lord told him to go ahead and ordain me. And it brought me to tears because it has always been my prayer.
So basically, you're his armor bearer as well as evangelist / minister.
Yeah, but we don't believe in armor bearers.
Oh.
I ain't gonna die for them. I ain't gonna taste the cup for them. But so I just keep him on task. I make sure he don't forget things, and if people forget to call him, just like the deacons aid him, take some of the weight off of him, call the people when they sick and they don't show up. Because his focus is the way is keep souls in the church for God. So he does have enough on his plate that, he can use many hands make the Lord light.
Now, you also mentioned that you do a lot of different things for the community outreach. So have you ever had any challenges when you were doing the outreach for your church?
Yeah, I mean, God doesn't give everybody a vision for the work and the labor. And so everybody's heart is not there. I'm not concerned with what people do with things you give them. When God gives you the vision, you have to do what God tells you, even when the people don't understand it. You got to keep doing it because everybody's not going to be in agreement. So yes, I had plenty of disagreements, not only with some of the people, but even the community. It's strange to them when they see the church out because they don't see enough of the churches out. They don't see people knocking on doors and giving them baskets. Me and Sister Smith and some of the members, we got together, we went through the neighborhood, we gave out food baskets, and just the response from the people was overwhelming. Some were so excited, some were so surprised because they don't have that in the community. So we looking forward to doing a lot of work in the community so people can know that it is a church there and that we're there for them.
So did Deacon Bell help you?
Deacon Bell always helps me. I have to always go to him, when we was in between pastors, get his approval. We don't always agree. Because sometimes I may overdo it, but again, God doesn't give everybody the vision. I really have a passion and a heart to win souls for Christ. And so sometimes if you hungry, ain't no sense of me preaching to you. You want to be fed, right? You want to eat.
Yes.
So that's
totally agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that. So I want you guys to hang in there with me for a moment. We're going to take a little small break, and we're going to come back and talk about Reverend just got ordained this year.
Yes.
We'll be right back after this break.
They can see it.
And we're back. We're back with Stewart Spotlight Podcast with my guest Deacon Bell and I want to say evangelist / Reverend, but which one should I call you, Reverend Bell or Evangelist Reverend Bell?
Reverend Bell.
Reverend Bell. Okay, gotcha. Before we took a break, I want to ask a question from your experience as your outreach and things of that nature. If you had the finance, what would you do for the community or for individuals?
For the community, I would love to have a place where we can feed some of the people on the street and give them some resources to if you ever see the Viaduct, it's full of people. And we got testimonies from people who lived under that Viaduct.
Wow.
Sister Smith is one. She'll feed them. They come into church. She prayed for things. God answered. Those young men, they come in. So everybody up under there don't want to be under there. Some want to be. Some want God to send them to a place of shelter. So that's what I would do for the community. I see pregnant women, and my heart just kind of go out to them.
Now you said Sister Smith. Which Smith?
Jackie Smith.
Jackie Bell Smith?
My sister-in-law, Jackie Bell Smith.
The Jackie Bell Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got to talk to her about some things now. So.
She next.
Oh, gosh. I hear there's a congratulation order. As I stated before, you were licensed in March of 2025. How you feel about it?
Yes, March 16th. I am overwhelmed. Tears of joy. A long prayer that God has answered. My challenges in being ordained, by how many people told me that a woman shouldn't be ordained, having to pray that God would allow my husband to allow it to happen, because he come from an era where he didn't really believe in women preachers either, because that's how he grew up. But when God has a calling on you, you have to answer, and God has to work. So I did a lot of praying. It was at one point I was upset when he said, no, I couldn't be licensed as an evangelist, but me being ordained, the call is on my life, and there's nothing you can do but answer to it. So I just prayed a lot that God would give him peace with my calling, because I need peace in my home, because this is my first ministry.
So, Deke, how did you feel about your wife being a reverend now?
I can't say who God called. I just know he didn't call me. Not to preach. No.
Okay. I should have known there was going to be a punchline coming in. But now, is there any kind of clashes between you two as being a deacon and a reverend?
Yeah, we clash all the time.
Our biggest clash is so we're in the south suburbs. Our church is on the west side. So the major problem we have is getting to church, because my wife is up before the sun comes up, and she's ready to leave out of the house at 8:00.
Okay.
To make it the sun. So we go to church in 2 cars, because I'm not leaving that early as she does.
Okay.
So that's our biggest problem. That's our class right there.
That's right there.
She goes one car. Well, but we solved it. She goes in one car, and I'll see you when I get there.
Okay. Well, here's my logic. here's my thinking for that. You can't leave where you won't go.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a teacher. I am an intercessor. I am a Sunday school teacher, and I am an assistant. I have to be in place for the call.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. I truly understand.
Sunday school starts at 9:30.
And I don't want to be late.
8:00.
So, how long does it take you to get from the south suburbs to the west side?
About 30 to 40 minutes.
But
I have 2 children.
I
have 2 new children. We have 2 new children in the house with us.
Okay.
So, my daughter, I brought 2 children back from Minnesota with me. And so I have a 2-year-old and a 12-year-old. So I have to prepare them I have to make sure he eats. So yes, I move early because if you want to be on time, when you on time, you late.
Okay. Now, my couple of last questions. Now, when you was going through your questions from the pastor, your husband, as I was told, had a question. He raised his hand and he got permissions from the pastors to ask you a question for your reverendship. So, what was the question, Deke?
Well, I mean, it was specifically for Evangelist Bell because there was 3 ministers that got ordained with her. So this question was specifically for my wife, and I asked. The question was, how many times a week does an ordained minister have to cook for her husband? Which I thought was a great question. And the people in the church thought it was a great question too. There was a large response.
That was not a great question.
Yes.
You
I think that in the future, other ordinations where women are getting licensed, a lot of deacons gonna step up and ask that same question. I think I set the tone.
So Rare, what was your answer?
You think he hilarious, right? Right now, you think yeah. My answer was as many times as his sister don't cook. So that was my answer. When his sister don't cook, then I cook for him. So, his sister helps out a lot because, Eddie health changed. And so he has to eat different.
Okay.
And so she gives me a break and she may come to church and she may have dinner for 4 or 5 days.
Oh, wow.
To give me a break. That's the kind of sister he got.
Okay.
And so she comes in and she gives me a break and she may cook for him. And, he had lunch and he had dinner. So when he come in, he already prepared. Give me the other 2 days. Give me the other 3. I'm fine with that.
and we're talking about Jackie Bell Smith, correct? I just want to make sure I want to make sure I get this in order because I've never heard this before. Jackie Bell Smith.
Yeah, right. Jackie Bell Smith. She, Jackie and Deacon Bell, they've always been very close. Mm-hmm. So she's gonna take care of her people. She's gonna take care of her brothers and her mama and her sister. She's a pillar of her family. So that's what she does.
Right. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But she can be a pain to it.
I haven't noticed that.
Look. Hey, don't do that.
Anyway,
but she's a blessing to him. She's a blessing, and she's been a blessing to me as well. So with the new baby and with the new kids and everything, so she's just a blessing. So I don't have any complaints. Like I said, as many times as she don't cook. If she don't cook, then I cook. But if she cook, I ain't gotta cook. Yeah. Thank you.
And all jokes aside, Jackie can sing too. She can really sing, and I have to hand it to her. But I don't like to, make her head too big. But
yeah, she'll sing you on the bench.
I know it. So, but anyway, my last question: give us some advice starting with you, Deke. What advice would you give for the viewers who's watching right now of your marriage and the church?
Of my marriage,
because you've been married for 25 years, I'm sure you have a lot to say, and now you're a deacon. I mean, you were singing in the youth, the adult, musician, deacon, married to your wife for 25 years. There's a lot of history in between there.
Yeah, it's a lot of history, but marriage is not easy as people think it is, and a lot of people don't make it 25 years. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. And when I say getting to know each other, really just getting to know each other. And she knows what I like. I know what she likes, and we use that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes she gets upset. Sometimes I get upset, but we're not going to stay upset because I'm gonna make it fun.
Right. Well, we know that part.
She gets upset. I know how to make her laugh. She ain't gonna have no choice but to laugh. But we get through whatever problems we have and we move on. There's not a marriage nowhere that don't have some type of problems, but we work through whatever problems is. They don't last. Believe me when I tell you they don't last.
I understand. Rev?
My advice to people is just to as far as marriage is just to be open for change, be open for growth. Listen to your partner, and know that your partner is one that God gave you. And ministry is just to follow God. Wherever God leads, follow, because you cannot go wrong when you follow God. I don't care. I tell you, if I can tell you nothing else during this process and this season of our lives, if I did not have the Lord, I wouldn't have made it this far. So I don't leave him. I trust him.
I totally agree with you on that. Because you mentioned you wear a lot of hats. You're evangelist and reverend, then you assist your pastor, the deacon. Being a deacon, so are you the chairman of the deacon board, or are you just a deacon?
I'm the chairman of the deacon board. Yes, I am.
That's a big responsibility as well. So
yes, it is.
My hat goes off to you guys.
Yes, I am.
On that note, I want to thank you both for appearing on Stewart Spotlight Podcast. And I want you to always be encouraged. Once again, congratulations. And I want you guys to come back and give us some history, because I'm sure you're going to have a lot of challenges ahead of yourself as being a minister. And then you have all these hats, and both of you guys have a lot of hats. And Eddie, tell your mother I say hello. If she's not watching, tell her I say hello. And
I sure will.
And we will talk much later. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a nice day. All right.
Thanks for coming out.
All right.
Good night.
Bye. There you go. You heard it there first. Deacon Bell and Reverend Jacqueline Bell. I want to thank them for appearing on Stewart Spotlight Podcast. Next week's guest is Pastor David Triplett from Christ Disciple Baptist Church of Chicago. We'll be speaking on Good Friday, the last 7 words. So make sure you tune in and hear what he has to say about the last 7 words of Jesus Christ. That's Pastor David M. Triplett. Also, I want you to remember, Sunday is Palm Sunday. Keep that in mind, Sunday. And also, I have a giveaway. That I was given from a friend of mine, Dr. Trome Jefferson. He was on my podcast last year in May, and he spoke on real estate and investments. He just has his book released. And you can purchase the book on his website, thejpservice.com. You can purchase it from a paperback book, an audio book, an e-book, or book bundles. You can purchase all of them. So, and he already signed these two for the first 2 callers. The first 2 callers who called me at 888-552-1944. Once again, the first 2 callers, 888-552-1944, will receive Mr. Jefferson book. I have a quote. I didn't steal a quote, but I heard this quote this week, and I thought it was very, very interesting. I have to say it. It was a quote from Lauren London. Lauren London. You better love the people God loaned you, because he's going to want them back someday. Let that marinate to you. Let it marinate. That's a powerful message. And every end of the show, I always give a Bible verse. And the Bible verse comes from Joshua 24:15. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. That's Joshua 24:15. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching another episode of Stewart Spotlight. I want to thank my guests, Eddie Bell and Reverend Jacqueline Bell, for coming on the show. I want everybody to have a nice and safe weekend. Until next week, be safe. God bless.